They have given up. They've given up. They're done. They're toast. The mainstream media doesn't even try anymore. We are going to look at an article today that talks about every team's main reason for optimism heading into the 2025 season. And if you were making this about the Kansas City Chiefs, you might say, well, I don't know if the left tackle situation will be solved, and the left guard situation might be kind of bad, but it might be I think it will be good, right? I'm from my own opinion, it will be good, but it would be possible to say that the offensive line will be better. The offensive line is kind of what's derailed the Super Bowl effort, and they made it to the Super Bowl anyway. That is a reason to be optimistic. You might say, well, if there is a best player at the sport of football, it would be Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs, I don't know if you heard, employ Patrick Mahomes. That's a reason to be optimistic. It might be, look, the defense had a couple problems last year, the pass rush and the cornerback 2 spot. Last year's cornerback 2 might be this year's cornerback 5. And there are two interesting, intriguing pieces on the pass rush with the defensive line, if nothing else. That could be reason to be optimistic. After all, it was the defense that carried the Kansas City Chiefs to one of their Super Bowl victories. One of the Super Bowl victories of the Patrick Mahomes era. But that is not the answer that Dalton Wasserman from PFF went with which, that is not the answer with which Dalton Wasserman of PFF went. Also, towards the end of this video, I'm going to pluck something else from this article, which is why I believe if there is a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West this year, it's the Broncos, not everyone's favorite, the Chargers, and not a team that is, I think, likely to emerge from the 3 preseason games with a little bit of buzz, the Raiders. I think that the Raiders are going to go out there in the preseason games and put on a little bit of a show because of some of the pieces they have this year that they did not have last year, Ashton Jeanty among them, and convince people that they will win the division or at least make noise. I think it's the Broncos. But in an article from PFF titled, "One Reason for Optimism for Every Team Ahead of the 2025 NFL Season," written by Dalton Wasserman. Now I have to stop right here. Many of the efforts in this vein by PFF do not list an author because there is a blurb in this article for all 32 teams. I have no idea who Dalton Wasserman is. He must be an absolute beast if he is credited singularly with blurbs for all 32 teams as to why to be optimistic. I cannot imagine that. The article begins as such. Every NFL team will enter the 2025 season with a clean slate, no wins, no losses. While those records will shift dramatically in the following weeks, each franchise has some hope of finding success until then. Here is one reason why each team should be excited about what's possible in the upcoming NFL season. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they list Rashee Rice's return. There's a lot of stuff you can put there. And the Chiefs had a couple of wide receivers emerge in Rashee Rice's absence, notably Xavier Worthy, who returns for his sophomore campaign in the NFL, but also, well, when Hollywood Brown came back, he had a couple of good shots. A couple of not so good games as well, and then the addition of Jalen Royals would seem to make the re-addition of Rashee Rice less impactful from a singular reason for optimism. Now, I'm not saying that the Chiefs should not be excited that they return Rashee Rice this season, especially when maybe Rashee Rice won't get to play the entire season of football, but I'm not saying we shouldn't be excited about that. I'm saying that with the addition of those other receivers, with the emergence of those other receivers, welcoming back Rashee Rice for what I think is likely to be half of the NFL season, guys, that's not the top reason for optimism. The top reason for optimism is Patrick Mahomes still wants to play football. That's the main one. Anyway, the article says Kansas City's receiving corps took a massive hit last season when Rashee Rice suffered a season-ending knee injury after posting an excellent 86.1 PFF receiving grade during his rookie season. Rice recorded an 85.5 PFF receiving yard grade in 2024 prior to suffering his injury. He was well on his way to becoming Patrick Mahomes' top target, and his void severely limited the Chiefs' ability to create explosive plays. His return, alongside with the emergence of Xavier Worthy, should allow Kansas City's passing game to bounce back. I will agree, I dropped my pen, I will agree that the way that Rashee Rice was playing football prior to his injury, the way that he was all of a sudden being targeted downfield and hauling in those passes, that was fun to see. And it seemed as if all of a sudden that deep passing game was going to be there for the Chiefs, even if, because by that time, Hollywood Brown was already out. It was not to be. Now, here's what I want to talk about a little bit with this, however. I've been on a kick lately on the channel, maybe you've noticed, of looking at RAS scores, relative athletic scores. I guess that's like saying PIN number, personal identification number, relative athletic score, but you know what I'm saying. I had not realized this. I know this is going to be a little bit difficult to see. The actual numbers at play here, but I wanted to get them all on the screen at the same time. Basically, all you have to know when you're looking at this is 4 of the Chiefs' potential top 5 wide receivers. Hollywood Brown didn't do any testing coming out of college, really, except for the 40, so his RAS score is not worth showing. But that little stripe at the top that says RAS on it, this right here, boom, it's on all of these. That is the overall score for the player. We have Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Royals, and I have included Elijah Badger. These are all very good scores. These are all very good. 9.53, they're all green, right? So green is a good number on these visuals. One of the reasons that these are handy in the quick is you can look at them and see the spaces where the greens, yellows, and reds lie and know kind of what profile of wide receiver you're looking at. So you look at Xavier Worthy, very fast, very explosive, very small. The size in the top left corner, the speed in the top right corner, the agility in the bottom right corner, and the explosion in the bottom left corner. So if you were choosing things for a running back to be good at, it would be bottom left and bottom right. Explosive and agile. Doesn't necessarily have to break the long ball because not many running backs these days do. Here we have 4 of the top 5 wide receivers potentially for the Kansas City Chiefs, all with green scores. Rashee Rice, a 9.53. 10 is perfect, by the way. 9.53 for Rashee Rice, 9.42 for Xavier Worthy, 9.01 for Jalen Royals, and 9.27 for Elijah Badger. I have Elijah Badger making the 53 at this point. Maybe he won't, but this athleticism compared to last year is going to be an extreme shift in expectation for the Kansas City Chiefs. Just looking at this and knowing that the guy who was left off, Hollywood Brown, runs a 4.27 40-yard dash. I think it is likely, had he done much of the testing coming out of Oklahoma, he would have had a green score as well. Wouldn't have done much on the bench press. I will let you know that now. But, and he's undersized, but I think he looks like he has a pretty good vertical. I think he would have done well in the agility drills. And if you ran a 4.27 40-yard dash, it's likely you had a really good 10-yard split as well. So extremely promising for the Kansas City Chiefs that this is their wide receiver core or prospective wide receiver core or 3/4 of their prospective wide receiver core, even if Elijah Badger does not make it. Now, I want to move to the rest of the AFC West because all the NFL teams have a blurb in this article. And I want to use this to explain to you why I think that the Broncos have will pose the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2025 season. The Raiders' reason for optimism: stability on offense. Well, that's quaint. The Raiders ranked 31st in PFF passing grade and 32nd in PFF rushing as a team last season. That shouldn't be the case this year, with quarterback Geno Smith and running back Ashton Jeanty in the mix. Smith earned an 85.3 PFF passing grade during his 3 seasons as Seattle starter, 8th best in the NFL. Jeanty spent his past 3 years at Boise State compiling a perfect 99.9 PFF rushing grade and finishing second in the Heisman Trophy voting in 2024. Those two should give the Raiders a much more potent offense in 2024. That's true. And I do believe in Ashton Jeanty. 2 qualifiers I will say there. Number 1, I think he's going to have good blocking in the NFL. I think that he's going to have to be one of these running backs like Priest Holmes that is gotten to the second level. But once he gets there, he can do wonders. So if they believe in their offensive line, the Jeanty pick was very good. I will caution, however, no player I have ever seen in my life was as devastating at the college level. And I'm talking about live because I know that historically there were more, but no player I've ever seen was more devastating at the college level than Reggie Bush. All I have to do to anyone my age, I can look at a man my age on the street, across the street, point at him and say, Reggie Bush, Fresno State, and he'll do one of these. Because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Reggie Bush against Fresno State. First off, that was the whoopsie juke. Running down the sideline, whoopsie. Guy goes crashing in front of him. I believe he scores a touchdown on that play. I don't remember. In my memory, every time Reggie Bush touched the ball in that game, it was a touchdown. Didn't cut it at the NFL level. Running backs are weird, man. And Reggie Bush, by the way, I don't know if anyone remembers this. So not only did he ran, I can't remember what he ran in the 40. I think it was a 4.3 something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But he wasn't happy with doing 225 pounds on the bench press. I can't remember what he repped out, but it was a really good number. Instead, I believe he put on 235 or 250. I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. So not only was he blowing away the numbers that should have been made, like the 40, but he looked at 225 on the bar and said, seems light, buddy. So that was what Reggie Bush was, and he didn't cut it in the NFL. Los Angeles Chargers. Young stars on offense. The first year of Chargers' offensive youth movement was a rousing success. Joe Alt earned a 75.9 PFF overall grade in his rookie season, ranking 8th among qualified right tackles. Fellow rookie Ladd McConkey earned an 85.0 PFF receiving grade to place 12th among qualified receivers. Joining those two this season will be 2025 rookies Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris, who could both make an immediate impact after outstanding college careers. The future looks bright for Justin Herbert's supporting cast. The question I have, does the future look bright for Justin Herbert? If Justin Herbert, ask yourself this, and I really mean it. If Justin Herbert doesn't take the next step this year, is he guaranteed 2026? Justin Herbert has been playing on hopes and, I don't know, Paul Frieda promise for his entire NFL career. And nothing has panned out yet. And I know he's playing in the same division as the best quarterback possibly to ever strap him up. A guy who, in my opinion, will go down as the number 1 quarterback of all time, Patrick Mahomes. Playing in that division, hard to win. But he hasn't done anything. Notice something about the Raiders blurb and the Chargers blurb. And I'm going to read you the headline from the Broncos blurb. And you tell me what stands out. The Broncos blurb is best defense in the NFL. Here's the thing. The Raiders and the Chargers, their main reasons for optimism coming into the 2025 season are offensive reasons. It's offense. I mean, okay, if you want to get in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, who has 4 wide receivers with RAS scores that are in the green, who has several wide receivers who run a sub 4.40, well, that's up to you, man. But I wouldn't do it. For the Broncos, they say, led by NFL Defensive Player of the Year Patrick Surtain II and several new additions, the Broncos could boast the NFL's best defense in 2025. This will be a battle of the Patricks. The key additions include former 49er Talanoa Hufanga, I can never say his name, and Dre Greenlaw, as well as first-round pick Jahdae Barron. Hufanga should be an excellent box safety complement to incumbent free safety Brandon Jones. Greenlaw would be able to help the Broncos in coverage as he owns the 4th best PFF coverage grade among linebackers since he entered the NFL. Barron led all qualified Power 4 cornerbacks with a 91.1 PFF coverage grade at Texas last season. That's the reason I think that if anyone is going to challenge the Chiefs in the division this year, it's the Broncos. They have the defense to give Mahomes and company problems. If your main selling point is that you think you're going to outgun Patrick Mahomes, you're in for a long Sunday. The Broncos will not be playing that game. So that is their best chance. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.